Breaking. Rasheeda turns on Yandy. Oh, baby, not the woman who's been preaching loyalty since season 1. Not First Lady of Keep It Classy suddenly throwing daggers on national TV. Like she's auditioning for Real Housewives of Betrayal. What happened to the cookouts? The girls' trips? The matching we don't do drama speeches? Well, spoiler alert, they did drama. And now, Yandy's marriage is on the chopping block, and Rasheeda's holding the knife with both hands. Tell me, how do you go from years of sisterhood to serving your girl's business raw in a room full of cameras and confessionals? Is it jealousy? Is it revenge? Or did Rasheeda finally get tired of pretending everything in her house was clean while sweeping Yandy's alleged skeletons into the group chat? And the worst part? It wasn't even loud. It wasn't ratchet. It was calm, controlled, calculated. The kind of betrayal that doesn't slap you, it stabs you in silence. You feel it later when you're alone. So what really went down? Why is Rasheeda airing out Yandy and dragging Mendeecees into the flames? And why does the internet already have receipts, reactions, and rumors of a walk-off? Don't move, we're unpacking the mess. Piece by Shady Piece. So let's talk about what really went down when the cameras started rolling for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 13. Because this wasn't your regular dose of reality TV and clapbacks. This was betrayal with a capital B, and the one holding the dagger. None other than Rasheeda, the same Rasheeda who built her brand around loyalty, class, and keeping it cute while everyone else spiraled into chaos. But this season, baby, she came with receipts, secrets, and a smile that screamed, I've been waiting to do this. And the target of her silent storm, Yandy. Yes, Yandy Smith Harris, the woman who sat beside her through every mess with Kirk, who toasted sisterhood at every cookout, who defended Rasheeda even when the fans didn't. And now, that same woman found herself getting publicly dragged into a marital scandal she didn't see coming, right in the middle of a promo clip that had viewers pressing pause and replay like it was a Grammy performance. It all started with a trailer. Just a trailer. Not a full episode, not a leaked scene. Just a 2-minute clip meant to tease the season. And yet, it had enough firepower to split the fanbase, flood the blogs, and get Twitter fingers working overtime. The camera pans. The music drops. The tension builds. And then there it is. Rasheeda and Yandy sitting across from each other. No yelling. No hands flying. Just one sentence that changed everything. Rasheeda leans in slightly, locks eyes with her friend of years, and says, sometimes people pretend their life is perfect, but the truth always slips out. And baby, when I tell you, jaws hit the floor. The internet damn near broke in half. Not because of what she said, but who she said it to. Because in the love and hip-hop universe, there's one unwritten rule. Don't come for someone's family, unless you're ready for war. And Rasheeda, she dropped a bomb on Yandy's marriage and didn't blink once. Now, let's be clear. Rasheeda has been through it. We all remember Kirk's side chick scandal, the secret baby, the lies, the denial, the tears on camera that turned into memes. She forgave him in front of millions, stood by him during every public humiliation, and rebuilt their brand as a power couple. So to see her suddenly take a scalpel to Yandy's relationship with Mendeecees, it had people screaming hypocrisy from every digital rooftop. Fans dug up old footage faster than FBI agents, side-by-side edits, clips from therapy sessions, interviews where Rasheeda talked about healing, loyalty, trust, and now she's tossing those same values out the window just to make a point on screen. And what point was she even making? Because the trailer didn't show much, just that one cold line and Yandy's face calm, composed, but blinking like she'd just been slapped without warning. She didn't yell, didn't flinch, just stared for a second too long and said, I don't lie. Simple, direct, but if you paid attention, you felt that sting. Because that's not something you say unless the accusation cuts deep. Unless someone just touched a nerve so raw, you have to bite your tongue to keep from exploding. And that's exactly what happened. Fans could feel it, that moment when a friend becomes an enemy and all the air leaves the room. But oh, it didn't stop there. The rest of the trailer hinted at even more madness. Rasheeda smiling in her confessionals like she didn't just ignite a wildfire. Other cast members looking around like they couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. Spice rolling her eyes. Jessica White trying to play mediator and getting side-eyed for her efforts. The room was thick with tension and fake smiles, but one thing was crystal clear: Rasheeda had flipped. And this wasn't no spurful moment heat of the argument breakdown. No ma'am, this was calculated. This was a woman who had been holding her tongue for seasons and finally decided to unload at the worst possible moment. And let's not ignore the whispers. Because while Rasheeda was casually destroying her friendship with Yandy on camera, rumors were already swirling behind the scenes. What did she mean by the truth always slips out? Was she referring to cheating? To Mendeecees? Was there some dirt she had been sitting on this whole time? The trailer didn't give us answers, but it gave us enough breadcrumbs to send the internet into a full-blown spiral. Fans started speculating. Was there a secret? Did Rasheeda overhear something off camera? Did producers plant the scene to stir the pot? Or was this real-life resentment boiling over into the asterisk? Meanwhile, Yandy's silence became its own kind of statement. No social media response. No subtweets. No shady Insta captions. Just quiet. And somehow, that hit harder than any clap, because silence means one of two things: either she's preparing to drop her own bombshell, or she's genuinely too hurt to respond. And judging by the way she looked in that clip, it was definitely the second one. This wasn't a woman caught in a petty feud. This was someone blindsided by a betrayal she never saw coming. And then there was Mendeecees. He didn't say a word in the trailer, but his presence, loud, his name, all over the drama. Because if Rasheeda was hinting at marital secrets, you know the internet wasted no time digging up every whisper, rumor, and side glance connected to his name. Cheating allegations. Miscommunication. Old clips from VH1 specials. Every shady moment from the past suddenly resurfaced with new meaning. And though none of it was confirmed, that didn't stop fans from forming opinions, and those opinions were heated. Some said Yandy had it coming. Others said Rasheeda was messy and out of line. But no one could deny one fact: this wasn't just TV beef. This was personal. Jessica White tried to keep the peace. Bless her. The poor girl stepped in like a meditation coach at a street fight. Calm voice, soft words, talking about forgiveness and sisterhood. And the look Rasheeda gave her. Chilling like, girl, now is not the time. Even Spice couldn't help but throw shade, mumbling under her breath and rolling her eyes so hard you could hear it. The entire room turned into a battlefield, and everyone was picking sides with every blink and breath. No one wanted to be in the middle, but no one could avoid it either, because once that line was crossed, the cast wasn't just divided, it was shattered. What's wild is that in the very next clip, Rasheeda's seen laughing, drinking, acting like she didn't just nuke her closest friendship on camera. Fans were livid. One tweet said, "She dragged Yandy and then went and got a mimosa like it was brunch and not betrayal." And that tweet, viral. Thousands of likes. Because everybody felt it. Rasheeda's energy didn't match the damage she caused. She didn't act remorseful. She didn't even look conflicted. It was like she had made peace with the chaos before she even created it. And that's what made it worse. But if you think it ends there, think again. Because just when the dust was starting to settle, another cast member who had been silent all trailer long walks into a room, phone in hand, and says, "Y'all ain't seen this." She presses play. The trailer doesn't reveal what's on that phone, but the reactions. Explosive. Gasps. Mouths dropped. One person walked out. A camera crew scrambling to follow. And for the first time, Rasheeda looked genuinely shaken. Whatever was on that screen, it hit. And just like that, the bomb she dropped on Yandy Midav had a return address. Asterisk, of course. Production cuts the scene short just enough to keep the fans foaming at the mouth, but the damage, done. The blogs exploded. Comments ranged from "Rasheeda should have kept her mouth shut" to "Yandy coming for blood now." And that's when the leaks started. Alleged texts, screenshots of DMS, supposed voice notes between cast members talking about what really happened during that infamous dinner. One voice, allegedly Rasheeda's, said, "If they knew what I knew, they'd understand." But the internet wasn't interested in understanding. They wanted war. They wanted to know why Rasheeda had turned on someone she once called "my sister." And more importantly, what did she think she'd gain? Meanwhile, Yandy remained as poised as ever. No messy tweets. No IG lives. Just a subtle repost of a quote that read, "Sometimes silence is the only response you need." And baby, that silence spoke volumes. Fans rallied behind her, calling her the class act of the season. She took that hit and didn't flinch, one fan posted. "That's how you deal with snakes in your circle." Another wrote, "Rasheeda out here playing villain for camera time, and Yandy letting her drown herself." And let's be real, if this was a chess game, Yandy was the one thinking 10 moves ahead. But the real twist came when Mendeecees finally entered the frame. And no, he didn't come in throwing shade or defending his wife with angry rants. He showed up calm, cool, and calculated. At a group event where tensions were already sky-high, Mendeecees pulled Rasheeda aside. No cameras at first, just audio, but the footage that was leaked later. He looked her dead in the eye and said, "You had something to say about me. Say it to me now." Rasheeda, ever the professional, tried to brush it off. "It's not that deep," she said. But Mendeecees wasn't having it. "Nah, you said it. Say it again." That exchange went viral instantly. The tone, the stare down, the awkward silence that followed. Fans couldn't get enough. Someone clipped the video and captioned it, "When the husband you dragged shows up in 4K. Now, while all that played out in public, behind the scenes, producers were allegedly scrambling, because Rasheeda's storyline was starting to spiral in a direction no one saw coming. Viewers weren't seeing her as the wise matriarch anymore. They were calling her bitter, calculated, even jealous. And when Jasmine, the same Jasmine who once had a baby with Kirk during their marriage, popped back up on screen, that was the dagger. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't messy. She just sat across from Rasheeda and said, "Funny how you judging someone else's marriage when yours barely survived me." That line. Iconic. Deadpan delivery. No theatrics. Just truth served cold. And Rasheeda. She didn't even respond, just blinked and reached for her water, and if you thought the fans were going to let that go, think again. They immediately went to work. Not Jasmine reading Rasheeda for filth and walking off like she ordered an Uber. One tweet said. Another posted, "She had one scene and ended a storyline with one sentence." But more than anything, that moment reminded fans that Rasheeda's own history wasn't clean. That the high horse she'd been riding this season was made of glass. And the cracks were starting to show. Now let's talk about Carly Red, because, you know, she couldn't resist inserting herself into the chaos. She wasn't directly involved, but she never is. Carly lives in the shadows, stirring the pot and smiling like she's just watching the world burn. In one confessional, she said, "People love to act brand new till they get reminded of their past. No names, no shade, just enough to make sure the mess splashed on her too." And the fans noticed. Carly ain't got a storyline, but she's always in the middle of one, someone commented. And that's the truth. Whether she's whispering rumors or raising eyebrows, Carly knows how to stay booked and relevant. Back to Yandy, she was still quiet, still composed, but there was a shift. She started walking into scenes differently. Not as the friend, but as the woman who had been betrayed and wasn't about to let it slide. In one private moment with Bambi, Yandy finally opened up. "It's not about the show," she said. "It's about respect. She could have come to me. She didn't." Bambi nodded. "I know that pain. They act like we're not real people." That scene, though soft, hit hard. It was the calm before the storm, because if Yandy was holding back before, that moment showed she was about to start hitting back quietly, smartly, and on her own terms. And while the women were feuding, Kirk started showing up more often, and not in a good way. In one scene, he and Rasheeda had a tense conversation about the fallout. "You opened this door," he said, "and now you mad people walking through it." Rasheeda looked stunned. "I was being honest." But Kirk shook his head. Honest ain't always helpful. The irony of Kirk giving advice on boundaries wasn't lost on fans. They roasted the moment. "When the cheater is the voice of reason, you know it's bad," one viewer wrote. Another said, "Kirk, giving therapy now. This show, wild. But let's not forget Jessica White. Stuck in the middle, trying to keep the peace while her own issues were bubbling under the surface." In a heartbreaking confessional, she admitted, "I don't know what I'm doing here anymore. Everyone's fighting, and I'm just trying to keep my head above water." But fans weren't buying it. They started calling her out for being too involved. "She's not a peacemaker," one tweet said. "She just don't want to deal with her own mess." And just like that, Jessica's neutral position became another storyline. As the season pushed forward, the lines got blurrier. People who once called each other family were dodging eye contact. Scenes were filmed in separate locations. Dressing rooms split. Even fan events were carefully choreographed to avoid run-ins, and all of it stemmed from one moment, one sentence, that shattered the illusion of sisterhood on national TV. The producers were eating it up. Every teaser, every promo, every social post kept one question in the spotlight. Was Rasheeda telling the truth, or was she just trying to shift the focus off herself? And just when viewers thought the drama had reached its peak, the mid-season trailer dropped, and baby, it didn't disappoint. A quick flash showed Rasheeda storming out of a scene, her mic pack half ripped off. Another shot showed Yandy wiping a tear from her face, whispering, "I was loyal." But the clip that sealed the deal. A sit-down where Rasheeda and Yandy come face to face again and Rasheeda says, "You think you're untouchable, but you're not." And Yandy, she doesn't even blink. She just says, "I never had to touch anyone." They showed their hands all by themselves. And cut. Silence. A stare, the kind of moment producers live for. Asterisk. And just like that, the season wasn't just about betrayal anymore, it became about revenge. In the very next episode, cameras caught Yandy in a private dinner with an unexpected Alima Madi. That's right, the queen of chaos herself. The two women sat down with wine glasses clinking and shade on standby. Mama D leaned in and said, "Baby, let me tell you something, loyalty ain't loud, but betrayal always echoes." And Yandy, she didn't even flinch. "Then I guess, it's been echoing all season," she said. That clip went viral within minutes. Fans were shook. "If Mama D and Yandy link up, Rasheeda better stay home," someone tweeted. And let's be honest, it wasn't just funny, it was facts. The tide had turned. The quiet grace that made Yandy so dangerous was finally turning into strategic retaliation, and no one saw it coming. Meanwhile, Rasheeda started realizing she was losing the narrative. Public events got awkward. Paparazzi were asking the wrong questions. Her own followers began side-eyeing her captions. "You built a brand on loyalty, but betrayed your own friend on camera." One user commented, "Not a good look." And just like that, the polished image Rasheeda worked so hard to maintain began to show cracks. Even Kirk, once her biggest enabler, started backing away. In a brutally honest confessional, he admitted, "I didn't think she'd go that far." That wasn't about protecting the truth, it was about throwing someone under the bus to deflect from her own dirt. Say what you want about Kirk, but when he's calling something a mess, you already know it's gone too far. But here's where things really took a turn. Yandy dropped a bomb of her own. In a private scene, low lighting, no background music, just raw emotion, she revealed that Rasheeda wasn't just spreading rumors about her and Mendeecees. She had allegedly tried to get producers to bring in someone from Yandy's past to create conflict on camera. "She didn't just betray me," Yandy said, voice steady. "She tried to script my downfall." That line, that shook the table. Fans instantly remembered all the times Rasheeda acted confused on camera, asking why's Yandy being distant. But now they knew. It wasn't confusion, it was guilt. And it didn't stop there. The producers leaned into the chaos, releasing a bonus clip online that showed Rasheeda in a meeting with execs, casually suggesting storylines, and mentioning somebody Yandy used to work with. No names, no confirmations. But the implication, clear. And that clip confirmed what fans had already suspected. Rasheeda wasn't reacting to drama, she was engineering it. "She's the Kris Jenner of the South," someone joked online. Except less business, more betrayal. And just like that, Rasheeda went from queen bee to calculated manipulator in the eyes of the audience. But even villains have their breaking points. During the much-hyped group therapy episode, Rasheeda tried to regain control. She showed up in neutral tones, hair laid, and posture perfect, ready to play the mature one. But when the therapist asked her, directly, "Do you regret how you handled your friendship with Yandy?" she hesitated. Too long, too forced. And then she gave the line that sealed her fate. "I regret that she couldn't see where I was coming from." No apology. No accountability. Just deflection wrapped in a pretty bow. The room went cold. Yandy didn't even respond. She just blinked slowly, like she'd already buried the friendship and was now watching the funeral. From there, the energy changed completely. Group scenes were almost impossible to film. Cast members started refusing to shoot together. Jessica White, caught in the middle again, broke down in tears during a photo shoot, saying, "This ain't what I signed up for. I came here for a platform, not a battlefield." But the cameras kept rolling. That's the thing about reality TV, doesn't stop just because the people do. And while fans watched the collapse happen in real time, the show's producers were milking every last drop. Every episode became a chess move. Every promo, a gut punch. Even social media couldn't escape the tension. Fans picked apart every Instagram story, every unfollow, every subtweet. At one point, Yandy posted a boomerang of her sipping champagne with the caption, "Peace over people." and it sent the internet into a frenzy. "That's shade, and it's well-deserved," one comment read. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was on damage control, posting motivational quotes and family pics, trying to redirect the narrative. But it wasn't working. People had seen too much, and nothing screams desperation like trying to prove you're unbothered when everyone knows you're sweating behind the scenes. The real kicker came when Mendeecees addressed everything in his own subtle but scathing way. During a podcast appearance, he was asked point-blank about Rasheeda's behavior, and he paused before saying, "I don't do messy, but if someone tries to use my name to create fake moments, they better be ready for the consequences." That was it. No yelling, no cursing, just cold truth. And fans knew exactly who he was talking about. That clip got reposted by every major blog, and the comments. Brutal. Rasheeda fumbled the one friendship that kept her likable. Someone said, "Now she's just another storyline with no soul." By the time the season reached its climax, it wasn't about who was right or wrong anymore. It was about who still had their integrity intact, and Rasheeda, she wasn't looking so shiny anymore. During the finale, a charity gala was supposed to bring the group back together. A peace offering, orchestrated by producers. But peace was never on the menu. Yandy arrived solo, looking unbothered and unbent. Rasheeda walked in second, flanked by two cast members clearly paid to play neutral, the tension palpable. The speeches went on, the toasts were made, but the energy never shifted. And then, it happened. A fan, yes, an actual audience member stood up during the Q&A portion and asked, "Do y'all even like each other anymore?" The room froze. Yandy looked at Rasheeda. Rasheeda looked away. No answer, just silence. And sometimes, silence says more than words ever could. As the credits rolled on that final episode, one last scene played. Yandy walking out of the venue, heels clicking against the floor. A producer asked if she was coming back next season. She paused, smiled slightly, and said, "Depends, who's still here?" Fade to black. That one line was all the closure fans needed. Because in a season full of betrayal, lies, and fake apologies, Yandy gave the one thing nobody expected: dignity. And that's why, no matter how many storylines Rasheeda tries to spin next season, this betrayal, will always be her legacy. Now that the dust has settled, or has it, one thing is crystal clear. This season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta didn't just give us drama, it gave us devastation. Real friendships crumbled, hidden agendas came to light, and the line between reality and reality TV got blurred beyond recognition. From Rasheeda's cold-blooded betrayal to Yandy's slow, controlled takedown, we've seen what happens when loyalty turns lethal. But this story isn't over. If anything, it's just getting started. So now we turn it over to you, the real investigators in this mess. Whose side are you on? Was Rasheeda being messy for clout, or finally speaking some truth that needed to be said? Did Yandy stay too quiet for too long, or was her silence the smartest power move all season? Are Kirk and Mendeecees just background noise in this saga, or did they know more than they let on? And let's not even get started on Carly Red, watching from the sidelines with popcorn energy and perfectly timed smirks. Was she the puppet master or just a bored bystander stirring the pot? We want your theories. We want your shade, and we definitely want your predictions. Is this friendship done for good? Is there a comeback arc waiting in the wings? Could the reunion be the final nail in the coffin or a chance at redemption? If you're here for more of this explosive commentary, wild exposes, and no-holds-barred breakdowns of all the chaos you won't see on the surface, then hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Because trust, what's coming next, you won't want to miss it. Drop your thoughts in the comments, don't hold back. Team Yandy, Team Rasheeda, or Team Burn It All Down and Start Fresh. We'll be reading every word. Stay tuned, because if this was the trailer, just imagine what Season 13's reunion is about to serve. See y'all in the next explosion.